Damn it, I know what's going on. Well, it's fight week. I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. Danny Garcia, the former WBC champion at 140 pounds, is done officially with 140 pounds. The interview from Danny Garcia, in which I asked the question, multiple questions about his career at 140 and what his plans are at 147 pounds. No more 140 pounds, period. So he's saying he's going to weigh in at the full 147 pounds. A lot of people don't know that up until he got hooked up with Al Heyman, Danny Garcia had fought most of his career at that point in time at welterweight. If I'm correct, Danny Garcia is 30. He's 30-0. Kendall Holt. But it was Kendall Holt, Eric Morales, Amir Khan, and all those fights after that, all the way up until Rod Salka. He fought at 140 pounds. But that means only 1/3 of his career was at 140 pounds. So basically, I'm saying he's a natural 147-pound fighter. One thing he talked about in is that training camp, he would have to focus on losing weight in training camp and not actually focusing on the craft of boxing. It was always focusing on, losing weight, to whereas now he's chasing chickens. So let's just start off by saying that I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live, meaning I do all my videos live and uncut, and I talk about boxing. I am officially media approved, credentialed to be at the Barclays Center for PBC on ESPN. Danny Garcia versus Paulie Malignaggi, and Danny Jacobs versus Sergio Mora. I will have the Sergio Mora, Danny Jacobs video up a little bit later on. I look at it like this. Paulie Malignaggi has hurt me a little bit, even though I'm still a fan of his, but he's a hypocrite. Let's just go ahead and say it. Now, whatever you think about Mimo Heredia, this is a guy who has been banned in every single sport outside of boxing. So for him to be working with a known steroid pusher, and not only just a pusher, a guy who actually ratted out his friends and everything, and also a guy who is a scientist, so he's always ahead of the game as far as new drugs and things like that. So it's shit like that. It's shit like that that has to be talked about. Can't just sweep it under the rug. We can't just dance around the subject. And I'm looking like you always accusing Manny of something. And you know I'm a Manny Pacquiao fan, and you know that I've admitted that maybe Manny Pacquiao was on some shit. Despite what the selective hearing that a lot of my subscribers may have. I know that Manny was a sinner. I know that Manny was an adulterer. I know that Manny was out there cockfighting. I know all that shit. I know that he would rent a hotel room. He would rent a whole floor in the MGM Grand or Mandalay Bay or wherever he was at. And, have all his friends, and they be up there getting turned up, having bitches, excuse my language, scantily clad females, and all this scattered ass, partying. Trust me, I know. But now, when I look at the situation that Paulie is always attacking the man, I'm thinking, well, you got this guy in your camp. Like, it's just like you got this dude in your camp. So it's like, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. But listen, let's just talk about the boxing. Of course there's going to be drug tests. And of course both of the guys are going to pass the drug test. But let's just talk about this. Listen, Paulie Malignaggi has a chance. Why? Because it is known that Danny Garcia is a pressure fighter, power puncher. Danny Garcia is coming out there to put a boot in your ass. Danny Garcia is not coming out there to box. Danny Garcia is coming out there to fuck you up. So when you look at the fact that Paulie Malignaggi, what does he have, 6 or 7 KOs? He's not coming out there to try to, engage with him. He's trying to come out there to try to move around and win on the cards. Paulie Malignaggi is trying to win on the cards. To where you got Danny Garcia, who his team, they know that that's what Paulie's going to do. They're chasing chickens. They're working on, not having a situation where you had this Lionel Richie, you had Lamar Peterson out there dancing on the ceiling and the old rhythm of the night thing. You could tell he just was dancing. So I'm sure they want to avoid a similar situation like that with Paulie. But see, Paulie's smart to the point where Paulie knows that he's going to have to engage to be able to get the points. But it all depends on if Paulie's dumb enough to try to stay in the pocket. And then when Danny Garcia is, no matter what you say about Danny Garcia, his left hands, you know, those left hooks are nothing to be fucked with. He is not a guy that you want to stand in front of. So with that being said, it's a 50-50 fight. Now, Paulie Malignaggi, to his credit, has been in training camp for what, like 8 to 12 weeks. Remember, he was supposed to fight Danny O'Connor, and then he got a cut over his eye. Al Heyman called him up and said, listen, Danny Garcia needs to fight. You want to fight Danny Garcia? Of course, Paulie Malignaggi getting that big payday. And mind you, he makes more from CBS, Showtime, Fox Sports. Where else does he commentate at? CBS, Showtime, Fox Sports. What else? He does commentating somewhere else too. Oh, Sky Sports. So he's making, you know, $2 million or $2 million plus a year. Paulie Malignaggi is eating off his commentary career. But also what I've noticed with Paulie Malignaggi, his commentating career, it seems to have made him a smarter boxer. He seems to be more intelligent and technically sound in the ring, if that makes sense. So if there's a guy right now, you know, even though fans are kind of shitting on the fight, but actually they're not. Fans are not really upset with the fight. Because you got Paulie Malignaggi, who a lot of fans, because he's got the hate of the whole Pac-Tard Nation. He got the hate of the whole Pac-Tard Nation. They want to see him get lose and want to see him get knocked out. Those are going to bring ratings in. And come on, if you're good at marketing or you know, they should know that type of stuff. That Paulie has enough people now that want to see him lose, but also Paulie has enough hardcore fans that love his commentating. Paulie Malignaggi is a gift to the boxing world. I hope he commentates for the rest of his life. You know, but on the other side, Danny Garcia, people want to see him lose bad. Also the same, but Danny Garcia also alluded to the fact that, well, you know, I may have my haters on social media, but when people meet me, they want to shake my hand and, you know, they want to take autographs and all kind of shit like that. He didn't say that in those exact words, but basically what he was saying was people make booby and all that type of stuff. When they meet me, they're not on that. They're not on that. They're like, you know, what's up, Danny Garcia? Can we take a picture? Yada, yada, yada. If you don't know, Danny Garcia, see, this is when I'm supposed to rest my voice a little bit. It's like allergies. Oh, God. You know, then the air conditioner. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of a break. I am T Street Controversy. T Street Controversy Live. Visit the home of T Street Controversy, RealCombatMedia.com. Along with RealCombatMedia.com, we will be providing and is providing full coverage for Garcia versus Malignaggi, Jacobs versus Sergio Mora, PBC on ESPN. I'm going to be in Brooklyn in a few days. I'm going to be there. Only thing is, I got to say, there's going to probably be one event I'm going to have to miss. It's probably going to be the media workouts, but I'm working on sending somebody to the media workout. I'm going to be at the final press conference, the weigh-in, and of course the fight and the post-fight press conference. And basically, I'm there to make headlines. So this is not a situation like before where I was learning the craft. Now I'm experienced, and now I'm going out there to make sure I do what I said I was going to do. And we're going to be the #1 boxing channel on YouTube and on the internet, bar none. So let's take a little bit of break. Listen to a little bit of Elton John.
Without the gold, without the crown, this is where you always been. You had to lose so you could win. Rise above your troubles while you can. Now you can love.
So listen, what's next for Danny Garcia? Now, what did Lamont Peterson did? Okay, put it this way. Danny Garcia is in a point in his career where he needs to knock Paulie Malignaggi out. Sean Porter did it. Can he do it? I think that if he puts enough pressure on Paulie Malignaggi, that maybe he could get a multiple knockdown situation against Paulie, and then Paulie, you know, not being in action since, you know, his fight against Sean Porter. Danny Garcia has to take advantage of that. Now it's crazy because if you know me or if you follow me over the years, you know that I'm a huge Paulie Malignaggi fan. Right now, not so much because I'm like, yo, man, this hypocrite shit I can't really ride with. And then everybody else knows it. So it's like if me being, you know, who I am and people know me being who I am on YouTube, me not talking about it's gonna make me just as big of a hypocrite as you. You know, people already think I work for Al Heyman. So, you know, it's just like, yo, I can't ride with that. You know, Paulie, it's like, yo, dude, for somebody who talks as much as him about other people being clean in the sport, Paulie Malignaggi should not be associating with nobody like that. I saw the interview and the documentary on Heredia, and it's crazy because remember all the stuff I was talking about Marquez. So it's like now I'm not supposed to talk about Paulie Malignaggi. Nah. You know, I don't like it, but at the same time, I'm hoping that Paulie Malignaggi is not doing something he's not supposed to be doing, especially at his age, because he has so much to lose. You know, because remember what happened to Antonio Tarver when he failed the drug test. You know, he was no longer commentating on Showtime. He's back now, but remember, he's just returning to commentating, basically. So, you know, in the fans' eyes, you know, if Paulie was to fail a drug test, not saying he will, and I'm not accusing him of being on anything, let's not get that twisted. I'm just saying, you know, a lot of fans are going to be pretty disappointed. So as you know, I'm giving it, I'm saying it's a 50-50 fight. Of course I'm from Philly, so of course I'm going for Danny Garcia. Can Paulie Malignaggi win? Yes, but Paulie Malignaggi has to win off of punch output, ring generalship, and also punch output, meaning he has to throw more punches and hopefully land. Well, he can throw more punches than Danny. He's got to land more punches than Danny. If Danny has a chance to have the more clean, effective punches, the ones where fans are like, oh, and you know, the ones watching on TV and, you know, can influence the judges, then, you know, that may not work to Paulie's favor. But if Paulie can outland Danny and also make Danny, you know, miss or look out of his element, kind of like Lamont Peterson did, you know, but Lamont Peterson was just pretty much just running, in my opinion. At certain points in time, he was running. So he has a really good chance to win. But one thing he wants to avoid is how long he stays in the pocket, because it's not wild because he knows what he's doing, but that no-looking left hand that Danny Garcia throws, Paulie needs to stay clear away from that. So it's an interesting fight, 50-50 fight on paper. Paulie can win, but if he wins, it will be on the cards. Danny can win by knockout. Danny on the cards, I don't know, but these are the type of dangerous fights. Fans would say, you know, Paulie's too old, but Paulie, in my opinion, has the proper toolbox to defeat Danny Garcia, in my opinion. Will he do it? We don't know. I will be doing something unprecedented, something I have not done before. So after all the lights go off in the Barclays Center, after they're not go off, but after the event is over, after they're breaking down the ring and everything, I'm going to be doing my post-fight results from the arena. It probably won't be uploaded to maybe about 3 o'clock that morning Eastern Standard Time. We'll see, depending on how long, you know, the post-fight press conference and all that stuff goes, because normally what they'll do is at a PBC event, they'll have the main event, but then have 2 or maybe 3 fights after that as well to showcase some fighters. So once again, I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. Just know we'll have the final press conference, post-fight press conference, the weigh-in, and of course I'll be getting interviews and doing the whole media thing this week. Please subscribe.